Okay, good afternoon and welcome to this multi-location meeting of the Democratic Services Committee on Monday, 13th February. I am Councillor Saifur Rahman and I am the chair of this committee. Please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting. In addition, when asked to raise your hand, please members who are virtually viewing this meeting could raise your electronic hand, and for members in the committee room, just raise your hand. Just to make you all aware, today's meeting will be recorded. Can I also bring to your attention that there's a slight changes to the agenda item for this meeting. We will bring item 7 to discuss first, which is a public participation strategy, and then we'll follow the agenda items accordingly. So I'll go straight to agenda item 1, but I need to ask members, are there any declaration of interest to declare for today's meeting? Okay, no, I don't see any. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2 then. You will see the minutes attached at pages 3 to 5 of your agenda pack. If you feel these are an accurate record of the meeting, can I please have a proposer and a seconder to approve these minutes?
I'll propose, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Can I get a seconder, please?
A second, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay, so now we will move on to item 7 first. So it's the public participation strategy. These can be found on page 59 to 112. Anita, is it yourself taking this? Yeah, so I'll hand you over to Anita now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, not much to add to the report, really. Just a few things to point out. The public participation strategy has been developed in response to a requirement from local government and Elections Wales Act 2021. We took a report to Cabinet before Christmas asking for permission to consult, and that consultation started in November and is due to close on the 26th of February. We've co-produced the draft strategy with the Neath Talbot Community of Practice on Involvement and Engagement. And this is a group of 60 plus officers and partners who regularly engage with specific groups of stakeholders. Just one thing to point out in the report as well, under the recommendations, we've asked members to note the contents of the strategy, but also to provide feedback on the draft strategy as part of the formal consultation. So just to point out, the way to do that is that there is a feedback form online at www.npt.gov.uk/consultations. And also you can email letstalk@npt.gov.uk. And that's all I had to update, Chair. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Anita. Members, are there any questions? Peter, please.
Thank you, Chair. Is it possible to get a paper copy of the consultation rather than online?
Yes, Councillor Rees, we have had them out in some public buildings. Sorry, I should have added that alongside the budget consultations, but we can also post them out as well. So if anyone wants to ring me, which is 01639 763842, I can post a paper copy out as well.
Can you note to post one for me now? Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
anyone
you, Chair.
else? No problem, Peter. Thank you. Bill, please.
Mr. Chair, just looking at it, this is a booklet seen by the public. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, I know it's a little thing, but there's a couple of little typo errors in there, a couple of words missing, and a few things. There's one where it should be, it's got date instead of data on one of the pages. And there's one page 70, I've got it highlighted, I have. Bear with me a second. Page 73 mentions the 4 scrutiny committees. And then when we get to page 78, it's actually gone up to 5. So just so for consistency as all, being this is a public document. Is that okay? So, thank you.
Thank you, Phil. No problem at all. We'll get that amended. Are there anybody else? Any questions? Peter, your hand is raised again, is it? Or is it legacy hand? Legacy, okay. Thank you. I can't see any further indications. So this item is for noting, I believe. Am I correct? Yes, that's right. So thank you, Anita. And thank you, members. Okay, the next item on our agenda is agenda item number 3, members' annual report. Officer, would you like to add anything addition to the report?
Thank you, Chair. Nothing really to add other than this is just the opportunity to remind members of the Democratic Services Committee, particularly maybe new members to the committee, about the requirement for members to produce an annual report. Democratic Services Committee just asked to note the members' annual report scheme. An example is attached in your paperwork and invite you to participate in the scheme should you so wish. And following agreement today, I will be writing to all members of council to remind them of the scheme and to invite them to participate should they so wish, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Stacey. Members, any comment or any questions? None? Okay, again, this item is for noting. The next item is item number 4. Members' personal development review. Is it Craig? Okay, Craig, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much then, Chair. So this is a report we bring into members, obviously, just to try and set out one of the obligations which we as Democratic Services need to look at. And that is we need to take steps to make sure that we have provision of reasonable training and development opportunities for our members. So we look to try and develop that in a variety of different formats, one of which could be the induction programme, obviously, when you first start as elected members, and we look to try and build on that through various member seminars at regular intervals. However, one of the other obligations as well that we have is the opportunity for members to have a training and development review. And the way in which we choose to do that here in Neath Talbot is we try to make it very much member-led. So the individuals who undertake those reviews with members are members themselves. And the way we've done it previously is we've provided some training opportunities through the Welsh Local Government Association, where a small cohort of members, perhaps some of the more experienced ones, will have this training and then work with individual members to look to see how best they can grow into their role, and if there are any different opportunities as well that then we can bring back to Democratic Services Committee or bring back then to the team to try and build on as part of our sort of training and the package as we move forward then throughout this council term. We've been in discussions with the WLGA and they've confirmed that they're still in a position to be able to offer this training to the cohort of members. So we'll be writing out to group leaders in due course, asking them to nominate members from their political group who may be willing to go through this training and to act then as a mentor for our new members and indeed returning members who wish to take advantage of this development scheme. The information that goes into this scheme is confidential. It's only between the two members involved, and then certain bits of it can come back to Democratic Services via the head of Democratic Services to make sure that we can build training programs then around these needs going forward. So what we're asking members to do today is just obviously note that this is the scheme that we are able to offer. And then basically we will communicate with the WLGA to try and put these arrangements in place and then go out to our members and offer them the opportunity to take part. It's something that is ongoing throughout the council term. We'll be bringing ad hoc reports back just to remind members of the opportunity of this existing. And we will encourage all members who wish to take advantage of it to come in contact with Stacey and the team in due course, and we can put the necessary arrangements in place. So happy to answer any questions on that, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Members, do you have any questions following on from Craig's presentation? No? Okay, so I'll take you to the recommendation then, which is on page 21 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder, please?
I'll propose, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. A seconder, please.
A second, Chair.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain? No, I don't see any. Thank you. If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this decision is approved. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is item number 5, annual survey of members. Who's taking this particular? Thank you. Over to Stacey, please.
Thank you, Chair. So members of council are surveyed annually in order to gain information, feedback and to reflect on the services that they've been provided through the previous civic year. And this will inform how we support members going forward then into the next civic year. And members are asked for input and reflection in relation to things like IT support, training, scrutiny, development, that sort of thing. And it's proposed that this year's survey takes place this spring to allow for any improvement then to be built into the next civic year 23-24. A draft survey is attached at Appendix 1 for your information, and it's based on previous surveys that have been undertaken, and any feedback from the committee on its contents would be welcome. In an attempt to obtain the highest possible response rate, it is proposed the survey is undertaken on a one-to-one basis by the Democratic Services team. This will also provide a good opportunity for the team to check in, particularly with newer members. And it will be the first opportunity to do this since the May election. So it's a good opportunity all around, really, to build on those relationships from the Democratic Services team for the members. So the recommendations are on page 43, Chair. And if anyone's got any comments on the content of the survey, I would welcome that. But looking to do this in the spring then to look forward into the 23-24 civic year. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Stacey. Can I just ask, you mentioned one-to-one, Stacey. Would that be a virtual one-to-one meeting, or would you, as a Democratic Services team, would you prefer if it's physically?
Either way, to be honest, Chair, I think it's just rather than doing it electronically, purely sending it out by an email. I think previously that hasn't worked. We get a very low response rate that way. So obviously taking into people's personal considerations, one-to-one, either virtually or in person. But it's just the one-to-one basis is what's important for the committee to agree, if that's okay.
Brilliant, thank you. Anybody has any questions? Peter, please.
Just on that point, how do we indicate to Democratic Services that we want to come in or we want it virtually?
Thank you, Chair. So following agreement today, what will happen is members of the Democratic Services team will be allocated a set of members to contact. So members will be contacted by somebody in the team, and each and every person's individual circumstances can be accommodated and be taken through then. So you'll be contacted, Councillor Rees, individually by someone in the Democratic Services team, and arrangements will be made from there then.
Lovely. That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacey.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else has any comment or questions on this item? Okay, I don't see any. So if I could take you to the recommendation listed on page 43 to page 44 of the agenda pack. Can I please have a proposer, please, and a seconder?
Happy to propose, Chair.
Thank you, Phil. Seconder, please.
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you, Mike. Can members please indicate if they wish to abstain? None. Thank you. If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this decision is approved. Okay, thank you very much. The next item is agenda item 6, timing of meetings. Is it Craig? Craig, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. So again, another legal obligation that sits with the Democratic Services Committee in that we have to look at conducting a survey of members regarding the time and frequency and location of our council meetings. The way in which we've chosen to do this in the past is rather than look at it as an entire council perspective, we look at each individual committee and we canvass the views then of the individual committee members for scrutiny, planning, Democratic Services Committee and all the other elements that we do have. That helps us to discharge then that legal obligation is on us to conduct this survey. So we've been undertaking that obviously during the course of the last year as meetings have been taking place, and it's confirmed at this stage no change to the structure in which we're operating. But in your previous report just now, you approved the conducting of this annual survey to members, and we'll also be building in some questions about timing and frequency of meetings within that survey, just to make sure that members have got an opportunity to comment on a one-to-one basis as well with officers, so we can accommodate any individual needs that may become of that. And then if there does need to be a change, we can bring that back to the entirety of the committee then for consideration. So just before members for information, Chair, you'll be asked some questions on this element in the survey conducted by Democratic Services, and hopefully we can flag up then any issues when the results come back to the Democratic Services Committee.
Thank you, Craig. Members, I'll open the floor for questions now with regards to the item, timing of the meetings. Is there any questions or comment that you'd like to make? Okay, none. Thank you very much. Can I just ask, Craig, you mentioned about speaking to individual members. I mean, if you speak to 60 members, you probably get 60 different suggestions. How do you decide to collect all this and make a decision at a particular time that is suitable for all?
It's almost an impossible task, Chair, is probably the best way to answer that question. What we look to actually do, though, is take some of the common themes which have come out of various meetings, and given that we ask the committees on a regular basis if there are any changes that they wish to promote, we let the decision ultimately stand within the committee itself. So it can often be the majority view, ultimately, that we need to take, but what we make sure is the committee aware of any sort of generic themes and concerns which are being raised in respect of specific meetings, and we let the committee then decide which way they want to take it forward.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Well, I don't see any indication from any other members, so if I could take you to the recommendations are listed on page 55 of the report. Can I have a proposer, please, and a seconder?
I propose, Chair.
Phil? Seconder, please.
Second.
Happy to
Sure.
second, Chair.
Okay, brilliant. No worries. Thank you very much. Can members please indicate if you wish to abstain? Okay, none. Thank you. If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it that this decision is approved. Okay, thank you. We've already discussed agenda item 7, so that can pass. The next item on the agenda for today is agenda item number 8, forward work program. This is just for noting, unless members have any comments to make on the forward work program. Oh yes, excuse me. I'm going to ask Stacey to come in first, please.
Thank you, Chair. For those eagle-eyed amongst us, I have deliberately put a mistake and called it 1819. That was to test you, okay? Obviously, this is a forward work programme for the 22-23 year. And we've got one meeting that left this year now in April. As you may have noticed from the business that we've been done the last couple of meetings, they've been quite legislative and things we have to bring to you. So I think by the time we come into our April meeting, we'll have mopped up everything that Craig and I legally have to bring through the committee. So what will happen then is we'll go into the 23-24 cycle of meetings where you'll have an opportunity to set your own forward work programme a little bit, and you can have a view as a committee on the items you might want to look at more in detail. Craig and I are still obligated to bring you the legislative things that we have to, but you'll be able to explore a little bit then things that might be of interest to the committee. So we'll look to hold a workshop early in the 23-24 cycle for members to be able to input into that a little bit. So one meeting left of this cycle and then we'll be into the next cycle, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. Anyone has any comment to make on this? No? Okay. So that's item 8 done. Agenda item 9, urgent item. There are no urgent item today, members. So that brings us end to our meeting. So thank you very much for attending and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank
you.